Today's episode, I have a very special guest, a dear friend and a very hardworking entrepreneur. Usually all entrepreneurs are hardworking, but she's particularly very hardworking and a recent hardworking entrepreneur that I've met. She is an amazing human being, a wife, a mother of 2 boys, and founder of GoOrganic and Pure Press Juices in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. It's Meenaxy Vashishtha. Meenaxy, welcome to my podcast, and thank you so much for accepting my invite to come on the show and share your story.
You're most welcome.
So Meenaxy, without further ado, you're a very busy woman, I know, so I'm going to make it, take it as quick as I can. And I would like to start by asking with you about your childhood. What was your upbringing like? What do your parents do? And what education did you get?
So my childhood was a very, very above middle class childhood that any Indian household can have. So we were brought up well. So it's not that we had struggles or anything. We were brought up pretty well. So I have an elder brother and me, and there was no distinction between a girl and a boy. I was, in fact, given a lot of leverages over my brother. So it was a very nice childhood.
Which part of India are you from?
I'm from Mumbai. So it was a typical Mumbai lifestyle. So both my parents were working. I was good at studies, so I always excelled in my studies, and we were given everything. So it was, as I said, a lot of people have those struggles in their childhood. No, we didn't have that. So whatever we wanted was given. Whatever I particularly wanted was always given to me, bought to me by my parents. So no, I never had that struggle. It was a nice childhood.
Yeah. And what did you study? Like, what was your education like?
So I was good at studies. I graduated, after my 10th, I went to study science. I did science. Although I was good at studies, I was never inclined towards medicine or architecture or engineering.
Why did you take science?
Pressure from parents.
This is a very common thing in
so
Indian culture.
If you're above a certain percentage level, then your parents would force you to go into. But I personally, I was not very. I could not see myself being a doctor. I could not see myself being. So although I went into studying science, I didn't know where I was heading to. Like, that's something which I really realized when I joined college, because all my friends, they were very clear why they have taken science, where they want to head to. I wasn't clear. I didn't know what I was doing, and that affected my results, and hence it didn't take me to where I want to. And then, because I didn't have any option, I moved to hotel management just for the sake of it. There was a calling in me to move to hotel management, and then I moved to hotel management. But although I enjoyed within hotel management, I only enjoyed the food part of it, the
cooking part.
The cooking part.
Yeah.
I had very strong inclination for it, but there was a huge lot of difference between the kind of people that I met in my school and the kind of crowd that was there in the hotel management. So when the kind of crowd that I was with in school were super intelligent, very disciplined. They knew what they want, strong in character. Yeah. They're very, very focused in life. Versus when you go to hotel management, they are the people who are just relaxed. Yeah. They don't know what they're doing. Yeah. They don't know what they want in life. They have.
So that's the hotel management career. People who don't know what they want.
I was a bit, and I could never relate to them. So I'm an intense person, and I prefer meeting people who are intense, who are very clear in things in life. So when suddenly you are surrounded with people like this, I got lost. But I kept my focus on, and it did well. So although I didn't graduate from one of the top institutions for hotel management, the minute I passed out, I was recruited by Oberoi's and then by Taj President. So yeah, so it was good.
I read that when I was researching about your bio, that you did a trainee chef at Oberoi.
I was a trainee chef at Oberoi. So it was, so somehow I just feel that it doesn't matter where you come from, as long as you put in your focus and hard work, the ways automatically open for you. So I never had to wait. So a lot of people who have passed out hotel management with me, they had to wait for a long time to get jobs. I never had that problem. Touch wood, million thanks to God. I never had those issues. So I passed out, and within a month we were called by Oberoi's. We finished 2 months, and within 1 month, I was called by Taj President. So
Okay.
it was
So you were
smooth journey.
cooking and everything.
So I
You were
was
making
in the kitchen. Yeah, I was a chef trainee. Yeah.
So I feel somewhere this chef training has helped GoOrganic.
It has, and when I was in hotel management, I have read extensively on so we had this modern cookery book, and I have read all the volumes of it and learned and by hearted, and all of that. So what happened was a setback for me was when I was in Taj President. So during that time, there were not many young girls who had joined as a trainee chef. It's very different now, but during that time, there were a lot of
Men as chef.
men and not educated men. So there were a lot of these commies, people who joined as commie levels, and they've worked very hard. They've worked very hard to come to that level of whatever chef or trainee chef. So suddenly somebody who has no experience and a girl who is barely 20-year-old joining as a chef trainee and who is their superior, they don't accept it.
Yeah, especially India.
In India, I'm talking about India. So I had to face many strong opposition, a lot of challenges, so much so that I gave up on it. I couldn't do it. And then my parents as well, so like it doesn't just give up on it. It's not something which you are supposed to do. And then I got burnt, all the fingers, my hands were burnt. I was in the bakery, so all the hands and everything were... So my mom was like, no, it doesn't work, get out of it. And then I got out of it and I started doing the other roles in the front office, but my heart was never there in it. I was just doing for the sake of it, kind of. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's how you started your career.
Yeah.
And then you got married and you...
Yeah, then I moved out of the hotel industry because, as I said, until I have... GoOrganic is where I see my passion. So before this, whatever I did, I was just doing it because I was doing it because it came on my way.
If you were given an option to choose a career, what you would have chosen? Like if you're not forced by the family to do...
I personally feel that everything is so destined, and career, I don't know. I mean, I was good at studies. I would have probably... I don't know, I would have...
When I was a child, I wanted to be, I don't know, I wanted to be a chef sometimes a business. I used to see my father do business.
I could never think I would have become a business because I don't come from a family who does businesses.
So what does your parents, what does
they
your
were
father
working.
do?
They were both working.
They were all doing jobs.
So nobody in my family has ever done a business. Yeah, no one was doing that. But I would have probably graduated from science, become some kind of doctor or some kind of got into the pharmaceutical industry, but something, not that I would have enjoyed it, but I guess I would have become that.
So you never knew as a teenager to do any, like, no?
No, I didn't have the dreams at all because, I never had the dreams. I never wanted to get into all that engineering and architecture. I could never see myself. So the way I feel about GoOrganic, I never felt. So after that, I joined various different office jobs, and then I was hired by Emirates NBD over here from India. So when I came back over here, but as I said, my heart was never into it. Okay. So from there, I moved to Damak. So I did many office jobs.
So what kind of office jobs?
Different kinds of admins, HR, lots of different office jobs. So it's just in 2009, I met my husband and we got married, and then I got pregnant. I got pregnant back to back, so I quit working. So after that, I wanted to get back to work. You know, when you're working all your life, you just can't sit in the house. I had 2 years of sitting in the house, 3 years, I think so. I couldn't sit in the house anymore. But I couldn't leave as well because there's just 1 year gap between both my boys. So my older one was born and he was 3 months, and I got to know I was pregnant again. So there's barely 1 year, 3 months, 4 months gap between both my boys, and there's no way I could leave the kids and go. Yeah, it's not possible. So I wanted to do something around them, and honestly, the whole concept of GoOrganic, the brainchild is my husband. So he put it into me. He said that this is the best thing that you can do. So we started from home. You just try.
I remember you sharing with me a story of how this happened as well. Can you share that story with us?
So because I had 2 back-to-back pregnancies, and that 2 C-sections. So C-section can put a lot of strain on your body. And my first pregnancy, I lost weight very quickly, but the second pregnancy, I couldn't lose weight. Maybe because it was just very, very short time, between both the pregnancies. And I put on a lot of weight, and my body started paining a lot, especially this part of my body was paining quite a lot. Yeah. And I used to be on a lot of supplements, calcium, vitamins, multivitamins, iron, etc. Many, many supplements. And that time I realized the more I take the supplements, the pain subsides, but for a particular period of time, and then it comes back again. So I started just questioning this whole pills and this whole industry. And my husband is a lot into raw food. So he goes on 21 days of raw food diets and juicing for the whole month. He's a lot into all of that. And he told me to get out of all of this thing. Let's just get into juicing. And then we got the green juices. We got a small juicer, and I started drinking 2 juices with food every day, green juices. Every day for 3 months, continuously. Within 3 months, I literally shrunk. And I had so much energy, and it just made me realize I've been taking medicines for like 1.5 years now, and nothing is happening. And suddenly this has changed my body completely, and this should be brought out to the people. And that's when we got in touch with a nutritionist. We curated different kinds of juices, different kinds of plants, and that's how GoOrganic actually started.
So your husband, you said, was into raw food before. What does he do by the way?
So he does market research.
Okay.
So he was heading Nielsen at one point of time, and then he quit his job, and he started this company on market research called 6 Factor. But he's a lot into health. Not that he follows it strictly, but he goes.
What got him into all this raw food and everything?
He comes from a place called Rishikesh in India, which is a lot into yoga and meditation. So both of us are quite into spirituality and not meditation essentially, but a lot of, we are both inclined towards that kind of lifestyle.
I have that question actually at the end of the show about the things that you follow in spirituality. But so that's how he got into,
so his brothers and all also are big time into, they follow Chinmaya mission, so they're quite, so both his brothers are doctors. They're quite, so his eldest brother is quite a famous doctor in the States. He's been there for 40 years now. Okay. So yeah.
And then together, with his help, you decided to
launch.
So
it was his brainchild. I was like, I've never done a business. I don't know what is business. I don't even know what is marketing. What are you asking me to do? I can't do it. I don't know.
So how did you open? What did you go through to open?
No, and many a times I've quit up. I quit purely because of the kids. It was too much for me to handle. You know, there were 2 small children. Handling a business, especially when you're doing it all by yourself, can be extremely stressful. And there were times when I used to do delivery myself.
Yeah, that's how you started.
Yeah, I used to do delivery myself, and there was one, and the thing is my boys were really small, you know. It was like, my older one was 2.5 and my younger one was I think barely 1.5 years old, and I had literally given my younger one to my nanny. I told her, you take care of him, because I can't, there's no way. If I take care of him, then the older one would feel bad. Okay. So I would take care of the older one, you take care of the younger one. Okay. That was the arrangement between both of us. But there was one particular time when I was feeding my older one, and he was very hungry. He was very, very hungry. He was crying, and he was hungry, and there was some issue with the deliveries. Because we couldn't afford anything, I used to just get those freelance drivers from here and there, and we had this 4 or 5 deliveries, and the deliveries were scheduled, and the driver did not turn up. And I was so tensed. I just left that food of my child, and I went out. Because I was tensed. I went out, and my maid was busy with my younger one, and I was trying to sort the problems. I was calling all the customers, and in all of that, 1 hour had already passed. And then I realized, oh my God, my son is still waiting there.
For food, yeah.
And then I rushed back, and he was so drowsy, and I was so guilty of it. I was like, hell with this work. I don't want to do it. It bloody doesn't pay me anything. I don't care for it. And I felt very guilty. As a mother, I felt very, very guilty about it. And I just picked him up, I put him to sleep. I mean, he went off to sleep without eating anything. And even for my younger one, I didn't have time. Those days, I used to work around them. So I used to be working on Saturdays. Yeah. And Saturdays, everyone was home. My husband, my kids were home. And every time I was working, they used to come to me because they were so small. And I was like, no, go. I have to work. Go. And then it started hurting me, especially my younger one. I never had time for him. And I was so busy with my older one, and then he said a few things. So we were watching TV, and he told me, Mama Tan. Yeah. So I didn't understand that, and then when I looked at the TV, he was showing me Sun. Okay. And then I was like, oh, I missed all of this with him. Yeah. I've just missed it. And then I sat with my husband, I can't do this, I just don't want to do it. He said, no, do it, just hire people. I know you're not earning enough.
So before that, when you started GoOrganic, you were working from home, you were making your own juices, buying your own groceries with the same juicer you bought earlier.
All by myself. everything by myself. And then that's when the things started rolling. It's something which I have realized, and I think a lot of business owners should realize. Don't do things yourself. You'll get yourself frustrated. Hire people. I know it will affect your. Don't think about it, because once you start hiring, that's when you grow, and that's when. And there are many people who told me that no, don't do it yourself. But it was just I
when you
no
start,
idea.
you want to save every penny,
and you don't know where you're heading to, right? I never knew where I was heading to be very frank. I was just doing it.
You're also scared of failure, right? When you start, you think maybe let me try and
Not really. Honestly, one thing which I always did was I never thought about what am I heading towards. And I still keep that attitude, purely because when you are, so you have your goal, but you don't think about it. You just do it. You just do it not thinking about your goal, purely because it reduces your anxiety. Yeah. And then you excel in what you're doing. So I've always been that way, and that has helped me because when you don't have, when you don't think about it, it just doesn't affect me. If it's failing, if it's not failing, if it's successful, it just gives us the courage to move forward. Yeah. So that's when we started hiring people. So first one guy, and then I saw that I had more time. I had more time with my kids. I had more time for business development, which was not happening before. And then the company started growing, and then we hired more people. Then we took a small rack license. We took a small warehouse. And then, that's how it actually started growing. So we started investing in social media. Then we took our own office.
So how was the first, what were the initial goals? I'm sure now the goals are changing and evolving as the company is evolving. At that time when you started, what was the goal that you started with? Was it the monetary figure? What is the delivery figure? The number of customers figure? How did you roll the system?
So as a company, we started first with, GoOrganic initially started with supporting local organic farms in the country. So what we used to do is we used to make these veg boxes and supply it everywhere. Okay. That was how we actually started the company. Okay. So by the time we did juicing, we already had people. We had one person who was doing it. But initially, boxes and all, I used to do myself. I used to do the delivery myself. But my heart was, again, not into it, just so that you know. It was not into it. I was just doing it. So a goal was, at that point of time, was just to pay my kids' salaries of all the employees. Yeah. It was the time when we got into Lulu and Choitrans, and also a few big distributors. Yeah. And from whatever we were earning, we went 10x. Mm-hmm. So the growth happened so fast in 2015 that I wasn't ready for it. Yeah. So if you're asking me again whether I had a goal, no, I didn't. I never did.
You just wanted to be busy and have work?
Not really. I think, I think there's a strange voice in me which kept me pushing towards it. Yeah. So I don't come from that business background. Now I think in those goals and those numbers. Now I have a vision board. All of that is there now, but I never had it back then. So in 2015, the growth was so much that we couldn't handle it. So much so that I just stopped working because there was so much of work already for us, and we were not ready for it. Yeah. So there was no goal, and after that we just kept on either maintaining it or climbing it. After that, I think the economy also kind of had a problem in the country. So we kind of maintained it, and so I always wanted to take the business to the next level, to get it to that level wherein we are in whatever amount. We wanted to get into millions, which was not happening. The only way it could happen was increasing the shelf life of the juices, but not compromising on the quality. And that was not happening because there's no machine over here in this country. Yeah. So we tried everything. We tried to raise money 2 years back. We had a lot of interest from a lot of companies. Mm-hmm. So there were a lot of, I won't mention the names of the companies, but we had a lot of interest from many companies
who wanted to buy
us out. Yeah. But the machine is extremely expensive, and nobody wanted to pay so much of money for the machine. Thankfully, the machine came to the country last year by someone. So once I got to know that, in fact, one of our clients told me that the machine is already here. So we did the testing. Once we did the testing, then we went to Carrefour and we showed the juices, and that's when they liked it. And now I know we can scale up. So until last year, although we wanted to scale up, there was no way we could scale up because it's such a niche product. It can go to a certain level. It can never boomerang, it will never scale up. So now we have those hopes. So now we have the vision board. I know where we want to go to. This is towards the end of the year. This is the goal that we have.
Yeah. So is there any, do you have any mentors or people you who guide you
A
to
lot,
reach?
yeah. I personally feel that all the small business owners should reach out to. So I'm a part of a lot of, so that's one thing. One thing is get into networking because that would really, really help you. So since I've always done things from home and my network was so small, initially when people used to call me for networking, I used to just sit quietly at one place with my green tea. If someone is sitting next to me, I will talk to that person. If someone is not, I just drink my, I don't know why the hell was I even going for networking. And then I joined BNI. So once I joined BNI, that gave me the strength, because every week you have to stand up and speak. Every week you stand up and speak. Once in a month you have to present. And that really, because you're forced to do that, there are 30, 40 people in your
watching
team.
you, yeah.
And you're forced to network. And that really opened me up.
Yeah.
So after BNI, during that time, Endeavor was supporting, Endeavor? Endeavor is a company which helps you scale up.
Okay.
So they were having this group which was supporting small businesses under a certain revenue level. So I applied for that. We got shortlisted. We got selected there. And that really opened me up to a lot of very big companies. So like the owners of B&B Chocolates, the food to go head of PepsiCo, the owners of Property Finders. They all are my mentors. I have to use them more than what I should. But it opened me a lot. And then I joined TIE as well. I'm a part of TIE. So through TIE, I get excellent mentors, literally excellent mentors. So yes,
so they hook you up with people that...
It's not always hooking. Yes, hooking, yes. Because hooking is a different thing,
Like
mentoring
they kind
is a
of
different...
combine, you are a mentee and this is your mentor or some, they go through some selection
but then you
process.
have to make those efforts yourself. So you have to go and meet up with them, speak to them, show them things.
So how do you approach, why should, imagine your mentor is, I don't remember what you mentioned. So for example, if you want PepsiCo as your mentor, how would you approach that? Are you supposed to do it yourself or they combine?
Endeavor will give you the mentors yourself. TIE would give you the mentors yourself. So through Endeavor, I have a lot of mentors. Through TIE, I have Mr. Manoj Nakara. He was the ex-CEO of Apparel. So I keep meeting him every once in a month, very structured, very, very structured. So they will show you this is what is going wrong. You need to do this.
Yeah, because they've gone through the grind. They know what it takes to make a company like
through Endeavor. Endeavor mentors are a bit busy, but then they help me, like B&B, the owner of B&B Chocolates. He connects me with all these big players, which I wouldn't have been able to, because they come with bigger networks. So it's amazing, and which I guess every entrepreneur should get out and go to the right networking groups. Just don't go to any.
How did you find these networking groups?
My husband is a part of TIE, so he's a board member of TIE. And Endeavor, as I said, it just happened. But so we were raising money last year, and we had hired this one agency to raise money. And because I was wanting to raise money so desperately, they told me Endeavor is doing this program, go and apply for that, and they would be having investors over there. And in fact, one of my mentors is also an angel investor. So yeah, that's how I applied, and we got selected. And I, as I said, every entrepreneur should take out some time and get into these groups, BNI or whatever, whichever, TIE, Endeavor, get into it, because the way they think, they are at a different level. They're dealing in billions, and when you talk to them, if nothing else, it will just make your mind really, really opened up and
widen up your horizon.
And you will think at things, and it will give you an amazing confidence. Amazing confidence, and they're very helpful. It's not that they will not give you time. If you tell them, they will give you time. In fact, many a times a few of them even wanted to buy us out. They offered it to us as well.
So I do small mentoring, but yeah, it feels nice to give back. So how did you spoke about investors and angel investors and all your mentors also investing? When did you realize it's time?
So that's when I always knew we need investment. but there was no source of getting investment purely because the machine was not there.
You don't buy the machine, right? It's someone else.
We wanted to buy the machine, but it's too expensive. So somebody bought the machine already. And then once we did the testing and once we got through Carrefour, there was no way we could do it in the small kitchen that we had. So then we had to raise money, And that's when I realized, no, we need to raise money because we would not be able to hit that scale with our own money.
Yeah. So how was it very easy to raise money?
It wasn't. That's what I mean. I have to really thank God for everything. For nothing for me was really well. And that is also because of the networks I had. So my first investor. So what I did is so within BNI you have a lot of chats. Yeah. So there's this women's group chat that I posted in it, and every time I went to BNI I used to say that, listen, I'm looking for an investor. Yeah. So there's a women's group chat in which I had posted that we are at this scale, we are heading towards this scale, got this contracts, we have the contracts in our hand. Yeah. We need investors, and immediately somebody popped out. You know what? We are also looking to invest in small companies, and then they came in. We didn't head towards them. We didn't go with those people because we went through friends and family. That was easier for us, and I know them pretty well. So for me, it wasn't. I guess within 3 months we got the investors. Yeah.
So you got angel investors. Friends and families are angel investors. So how does it work with angel investors also? You have to do some contracts and everything. Everything is written, and
if
you do all the
contracting. If you don't want to happen in the relationships, yes, it's good to do all the contracts. Yeah. Thankfully, we don't have those pain points like what the other investors can give to the entrepreneurs. No. In fact, the investors are pretty nice.
They don't interfere in your operations or anything. It's just you are the sole. And for example, if you want to remove everything and you want to be independent again and have no investment, suppose you make a lot of, it's possible to just give back the money and take the charge of the whole company on your. It's just the funds that there's no share. They don't have
there's
a share.
There's a share of the business. They have taken a part of the business.
Okay, they have taken the part of the business. Okay. Interesting. I was actually, I think you had recommended me to attend one of the sessions, and I happened to go to Thai for.
Did you go?
I did go for it, and.
I missed it last time.
It was about investments and how people invest. I'm also looking to invest in businesses, and probably for now we don't need funding for our business yet. But just to know what happens, how do you prepare for an investment? How do you fund? How do you invest in other companies? And that information was pretty helpful. Yeah, I made a lot of notes.
I really
it was a good one, but I'll be happy to share with you what I learned. So now that one of the things that came across, you have children, you have a family, the company is growing. How do you balance now? Now of course you're hiring people. So how do you balance your professional and personal life?
So I've always been very clear. So after that incident with the kids, I realized one thing that I cannot, and this is something which I have seen with a lot of small business owners, they drown themselves with work.
They try to do everything themselves.
And they have no clue what to do, and then they get frustrated, they don't have time for their kids, and they give up. Yeah. So one thing which I always understood very, very quickly in the business is, let me earn less money, I'm fine, that's okay. Let me just hire people and delegate and forget about it. Yeah. Let them make mistakes, I'll come back to them and tell them what has to be done, but let me hire people. So we always had a lot of staff, that we always outsourced a lot of work. And I was very, generally I'm a very disciplined person. So when it comes to sleeping early, waking up early, the kids also follow that routine. I will do everything on time. So 9 to 10 this, 10 to 11 this, 11 to 1. I will segregate my days. I'll write down everything. So I'm that kind of
meticulous with time.
Very, very, very. So for me, every time is, for me, every minute counts. I'm like that. So that has actually, the discipline that I follow has really helped me. So I work around the kids. So they go to school at 7:30. So I start my work at 7:30. Yeah. And then I leave at 2:45 to pick them up. I come back home. Have lunch, and then again from 4 to 5:30 I work, and then I take them to the classes. So I don't work. I never stress myself with work beyond that. Whatever is not done is carry forward in the next day or the next week when that particular thing has to be done. Or when if I have time in between, but I never work. I have never worked, ever worked after 6 at all.
It was like strict deadline.
Very strict. And that's the reason why always a lot of work was outsourced. So for me, the only work I do in the company is business development, and I enjoy doing it because it really helps me meet a lot of different people, and it enhances. If we hire people, always tell me, why are you doing it? Why don't you hire salespeople? Then I tell them, the salespeople will not have the passion that I have. Yeah, and not selling, it's just the business. So through the business development, I've really met the owners of big companies, and it's not about them giving business to me, but it's about seeing how they think. They help in various different ways, you know. If it doesn't come now, it comes later. It does come, but I enjoy it. I really enjoy doing business development. So yeah.
But I've also noticed that you have days, the way you manage your day.
Can
you share with us how you manage your days? That is very interesting. Like, sorry, I'll talk to you on Wednesday when that's the day when I discuss that. You know,
because what happened is, especially since last year, we have our B2C segment, which is juice detoxes, which goes to our clients, and that's bread and butter for us. And then we started retail since January, and we have started supplying to restaurants also. We supply to close to 30 restaurants right now. And we're growing and adding more and more. Yeah. So there's no way, if I don't have a structure, I'll be lost, you know. I'll be absolutely lost. So now I've started dividing the days. So the office works 6 days a week, but I work 5 days a week. So the Sunday for me is just for retail. So I'll not do anything other than retail. Monday and Tuesdays for me are for restaurants and hotels, so the HoReCa industry.
So what you do on that day is you sit and make the calls,
meet the people, all of that, take down notes, put the boards, send emails, connections, follow-ups I don't do, but yeah, so whatever, closing, everything.
Next reply to the HoReCa will be again next Monday. Until then, no emails?
No, I don't do that. So if there's somebody who, if it's a deal closing thing, then it just goes the next day because it's just sending an email. Yeah. But a lot of work for that particular segment is being done on that day. So Wednesday and Thursday for me are the B2C days. That's how I work.
Okay. And then you have all these other days already slotted. So, you know, you mentioned about hiring, which is one of my very important questions, because I truly believe, you know, the studies show that 95% of small businesses fail within the first year of their inception. And I think the reason this happens is because small businesses or business owners try to do everything themselves. They try to wear these multiple hats, which is okay. You can wear multiple hats, but you need to delegate also. So what was the first thing you decided that I need to delegate? I shouldn't be doing this.
Operations. I was doing the operations.
Making the juices.
Operations, yeah. So
deliveries.
Deliveries and everything I completely stopped because I realized this is not something which so it's only when you start delegating the work you realize what is your strength. Yeah, so that's when I realized that my strength is more of marketing and business development and meeting, and that's when I realized that's my strength. But yeah, delegation is something which is a must. Yeah, even if you have to get some investment in the beginning and put it across, or not earn anything for the first 2 years, but that's the only way you will have your time.
Absolutely.
And the business will grow. Otherwise, it will never grow.
Like if I share with you my old days when I started back in the year 2000, when I started freelancing, what I would do is I would go get the job. I was a web designer myself. I would sit and design my own websites, my own client websites. So I would go get the job, do the design, give it back. And then I realized, oh my God, and I never enjoyed doing the website design work. I enjoyed doing the business, like knowing that the minute they will talk about the website, I'll start creating the site in my brain, but I don't want to sit and do that. So I started hiring people on Elance and all these different online networks. And within a month, I had a team all over the world who would do websites. And I would go and get the project and give them. So I was just managing between the clients. Exactly. And I realized how fast I started making more money and then giving it back in the business. This is one advice that I would like to share with our audience, is that if you're a small business trying to get things or get everything done, look at things that you're not good at and outsource that first. Even if it requires you to spend money from your pocket, spend it, because it will come back to you in multiple folds when the business will pick up.
This is something which I'm seeing a lot. Small businesses end up doing so much. They don't go on holidays. They're overworking themselves. They don't have time for their kids, especially women, with children.
And then that affects the marriage and the family and the kids grow.
It affects their health, and then they give up on it. And that is one reason why a lot of businesses fail, because they take it so much on themselves then they can't sustain it.
Eventually it has to die. So what is it like doing business in Dubai, considering UAE is a very small market and you have so much competition? What is, like, how you cope up with first of all, how is it doing business here?
It's nice. I mean, I see it's a bit expensive when it comes to, if you go back to India, and I don't know what happens in other countries, but if you go back to India, the costs are much lower. Yeah. Over here, yes, it is a small market, which is true. At this point of time, this market is good enough for us because we haven't reached our potential with this market. But no, I personally feel that people in UAE are ready to help. Women entrepreneurs are being given a lot of help, which probably you will not get
anywhere in
back
the world,
in your home country. If you tell them, hello, I'm a woman, get lost and get your own work done. Over here, I guess everyone wants to help you out. They listen to you. They keep an open mind. So it's not really, and it's quite easy, right? I mean, as I said, I never did anything myself. So if any license has to be open, it was always given to an agency. You do it, you take your money and you do it. I don't want to do it, kind of. So because I was never involved in anything,
it was always outsourced. I truly agree to that because I'm also from India and I travel a lot to all over the world, and I feel the amount of support our UAE gives to women, and even when we go for visas or I go for licensing, there's special women counters and women lines where women are assisting. I feel it's very luxury to do business in Dubai.
It's very luxury, and the way they support you, I mean, it's quite nice. And I honestly don't like all this whole women thing, because the way men have really supported. Yeah. They literally want to help you out and they will do everything for you.
And the government also really supports women entrepreneurs and everything a lot. But how do you cope up with the size of the market and the competition around? How does it affect the business and how do you handle that?
See, at this point of time, with GoOrganic, we have been there for 6 years now, so it's not that it's affecting us. We've got kind of our own customers. We are always looking for more customers, but yeah, it's not a segment which can, unless and until we franchise to different countries, it will different countries within GCC. It will grow at its own pace, and it is growing at its own pace. Within Pure Press, so we don't have much competition. My point is we don't have much competition within GoOrganic. There are barely a few companies, handful of companies who are doing it the same. Within Pure Press, yes, we do have a competition, but as of now, we're really, really small. We're babies. We've been there just for 7 months over our competitors like Barakat, who've been there for 16 and 17 years with a lot of fun. So we have a lot to capture before even going beyond UAE. We have ambitious plans to cover the whole UAE this year and going out of UAE next year. And I hope it happens.
I'm sure it will, inshallah. Ameen, it should happen. That's the next question, Maya, is very related to this, is that you have these amazing collaborations, like you're in Jones the Grocer, you have it Salad Jar, and all these different local companies. How do you do these collaborations? How does this happen?
So I'm very, as I said, networking, and I once again say small business owners have to network, must network, because network you can really, so all these things, honestly, I didn't make any crank calls or blank calls. It was all networking. It was just networking.
But even connect, like for example, telling the company to tie up and cross-promote, and
it was all networking.
Convincing them, like how did you convince them to take the...
I didn't convince them, so it was all networking. So I met someone, so for Jones the Grocer, so there's this girl called Davina. She's in Kenyan Indian. She runs this company called Planet Organic. So I met her at one of the networking events, and that's something which I'm good at. So when I meet someone who is related to the food industry, I try and develop that relationship with them. If the person in front of me wants to develop as well. So I met up with her, and then she gave me this whole lot of leads, and that's how I got it. So she did those emails, and that's how we got into all of that. Salad Jar, again, somebody connected me. So it was all Hello Chef, they're my neighbors actually. So all of them. So wherever we're trying for Emirates, so it's because I know someone who, so it's always networking. Networking has helped and has really boosted me and also the business, me as a person more.
Usually in networking, like I've seen, what's in it for me? Like, what should I give you next?
That's something which BNI has taught me. So I was like that before. So when I went to networking, it was like, I mean, I should sell, let me get the most out of it. But when I joined BNI, it has really changed my perception. So when I joined BNI, the first year, I got a lot of money and I did not give anything in return. And suddenly I realized that this is not nice, I'm just getting and getting and not giving back. And that changed my perception completely. And I started believing in the giver's gain philosophy. So now when I'm meeting someone, I also see if I can give something to them. And that's something which comes to my mind first, that I want to give to them. And then
the receiving automatically comes back.
Happens. So, yeah.
Do you get overwhelmed and unfocused? And how do you deal with this overwhelm and unfocused?
I used to get very, very overwhelmed some years back. Overwhelmed when, in the beginning years, when I was trying to do things myself. After that, as I said, one thing which I did very good was to delegate all the work. So I generally don't do anything other than business development. So no, I have not got overwhelmed. And otherwise, I'm a very disciplined and I do everything on time and very, very task-oriented as a person. So one was overwhelmed, and what did you say?
Unfocused.
Unfocused? Not really. No. I haven't been. So because I follow a lot of spirituality, and I hear a lot of talks from how to focus, how to control your mind and all of that. So how to have one thought at one time. So it's very difficult, but if it's always at the back of your head, then you know that you have to focus. So no, I never had those problems, no. Generally, I'm quite an introvert as well, so I'm not someone who goes out a lot, or even on the weekends, I would rather sit in the house. And so I'm not someone who will go out a lot, which helps me ground and stay and
connect with
get
yourself and
focused as well. Yeah.
New belief systems and habits you've adapted or changed because of the demands of the work and business and family, and it has, we are evolving on a regular basis with all the things that are thrown to us, life challenges and everything. So new systems, new beliefs that you've got now that you have a company that you're running since 6 years.
Yeah. So new beliefs, yes. So I have always been until a few years back, I've always been a very unambitious person. So that's why I never had any goals. So whatever was coming, as I said, I have to really thank God for everything. It was this strong power within me which was pushing me to do things. I was not pushing myself. And I used to always tell my husband, what I lack is ambition in life. And then I started following a lot of spiritual gurus.
Let's talk about that. Actually, it's there in my
So
questions.
I started following Chinmaya Mission. And one thing which they always tell is that spirituality is not what people understand. It's not running away from a place and sitting at one place and meditating. No, it's not. It's you staying in that place and have a very, very high goal. Such a high goal. Be so ambitious that you can't reach that goal. When you're trying to reach that goal, you will go up. You will go, and you'll forget where you are. So that's how and that really helps. So they teach you many, many things. They will teach you how to.
So you aim for something which is audacious goal.
You aim for your star. Aim for the star, okay, and work towards getting the star. But don't focus on the star. So that's your goal.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say my goal is 1 billion dirham a month.
For
okay,
example,
hypothetically.
Yeah. But that's a
so
good goal to have.
So you work towards that goal. But if you don't get that goal, it's okay.
For example,
That's fine.
But that's a good
goal to have. You don't get upset with that. You just work towards that goal. If it happens, fine. If it doesn't happen, also fine. So this thing that you need to have a very ambitious goal, do something for a cause. So right now, so many people tell me, so we keep getting offers for buying us out. And many people tell me, oh wow, you'll be bought out, you'll get a lot of money, you'll be rich. But I don't see it that way. For me, it's not that I will get rich and what I will do. No, for me, it was never that way. I want to see GoOrganic at a certain level. I want it to grow at a certain level. Not once have I ever thought that I want 1 billion dirhams and million dirhams and I will buy a house. Yeah. I don't have any such plans.
Why do you want to see GoOrganic reach a certain level?
Why I want to see a GoOrganic? Because that helps me accelerate myself. Otherwise, I will just stay in my cocoon and do nothing and be happy. No, I don't want to. I want to see myself growing up, and also I want to give back. So I try to give back what I can in charities to orphan. I feel for the children. I really feel for orphan children. So it's my desire. I really desire that whatever money we get, I would not go on travel. I would not buy expensive things, but I would pass that money on to orphanages, especially back in India or anywhere in Africa. I would be the first person to give it out. Part of my 20% of my personal salary and whatever I can give out of the business, I do that. So if we are going, whatever, if we are having a very high goal and if we have a very high revenue. So I know that there's this institution in India called Parivar. So that guy who started it, he's an ex-IIT and ex-IIM. If he wanted to, he could have got any job in the world and he could have earned money like anything, but he quit everything. He didn't want to do that. What he did was he collected all the street children and he started educating them. Yeah, and he does it, and now it's become quite big there, but they are starting this new school, and they need like 18 crores for it. I wish I could give it, but I don't have it. But then, this is something which I would like to support. But it's again not for me, not because I'm not even fond of traveling. All of my clothes and my shoes are bought by my husband, not me. I'm not someone who enjoys makeup I'm not that kind of a person. But I would really like to give that money back to the charity.
I truly believe when you give, it comes back in multiple.
Not because you want to give it back, because we live in a lot of luxury. We are happy. Yeah. But they're not everyone who is, and that's the whole concept of any spirituality, right? So it's you need to give to the people. God is within the people, so you give to them, people who are not able to afford many things, and which is what I very strongly believe. And the only way I can do it is through GoOrganic, and hence I push myself up so that we can earn that much of money to give back to them.
Give back to the society. You read, you go the spiritual classes you go for. You also mentioned you read Upanishads and Gita. You study Gita.
I read Bhagavad Gita. Upanishads are a bit high end for me. it's quite high end. Bhagavad Gita, yes, I'm an ardent follower of Bhagavad Gita, and I feel everyone it's just not for Hindus, it's for anyone. Yeah. Read it. The kind of knowledge. So I come from a family where my parents, I don't think they ever had any Bhagavad Gita or they have any idea anything. Yeah. So this whole spirituality also came to me through my husband and also through my kids. So there was a time in my life that because Hinduism is very widely misunderstood, people. So when I was growing up, it was like so many idols, there's Ganesh and there's Krishna
Lord
and there's
Shiva
so
and
much in Shiva. Yeah. And nobody knows what is happening, and the general people don't know. Yeah. So I was once at a salon, and then the girl who was doing manicure, she asked me, which God do you believe in? So I said, I go to this one. So whatever, if you ask anything from that God, you will get it. And I was like, what kind of question? You go to this God, you will get more things from that. And it just didn't make sense to me. And then, so during that time, I lost my job in Damak, and I got a job in Abu Dhabi, and I was staying as a PG at a Pakistani family's house. And through them, I got some information about Islam and Quran, and I like that concept, it's a fabulous so I like the concept of having one God who doesn't have any, it's not like
sub-gods.
What is happening out here? So I like that concept of having full faith, I like the concept of their Ramadan, why they do it, why they cover themselves, the way I like that constraint,
the whole ideology of the
I like the whole ideology. Yeah. So when I got married, I told to my husband that I don't understand what's happening here in Hinduism, but I'm not going to kind of become a Muslim, but I like the concept of Islam. So when my kids were born, I didn't want them to be as confused as me, but I wanted them to know everything what's happening in our religion. So I was extensively searching for all this children's classes for Bhagavad Gita and all, and thankfully that point of time, so I owe this to my kids. The head of ISKCON, Hare Krishna, he lives in very close to where I live. So somebody gave me their contact details, I sent them an email, I went and met them, and that was the first time ever in my life Bhagavad Gita was open to me. And then I realized that the knowledge which is there in Islam, it's been there, the same thing, that the one concept of God is there in Hinduism, has been there for ages and ages, even before, and that blew me up. ISKCON, however, has a different way of following things. My husband's family is a very strong follower of Chinmaya Mission. So my husband, we were searching for Chinmaya Mission classes over here, and then I started following. We got to know about them 4 years back, and we started going to Chinmaya Mission. And Chinmaya Mission Bhagavad Gita is a must-read for everyone. It is very action-oriented. So this whole have a very high goal and do things not for the goal.
But
So it doesn't talk, they
enjoy
don't
the
talk about
journey and the
God.
process,
They
yeah.
don't talk about all of that. Surrender yourself completely, just do
To
it.
service.
Surrender yourself to work. Surrender yourself to anything. So if you are a mother, you surrender yourself to the child, but don't think that the child will take care of you. So surrender yourself to GoOrganic or to whichever company you are. Don't expect that it will give out the returns, but you do your best.
Yeah.
You push yourself as hard as possible. In return, the things will happen. One thing which they also say is things are not in your hand. So the
Yeah,
way
I believe
Bhagavad
that.
Gita, I mean, the way, if you read Chinmaya Mission Bhagavad Gita, it will, so he literally propels you to action. He can make you very, very powerful as a person. And I think I've changed after reading it. Now I read it a lot more extensively because it can open up your mind to those possibilities which probably we would otherwise never be able to. Yeah, so I read Bhagavad Gita a lot, and I've started hearing a lot of Swami Sarvapriyananda. So he will also hear him out if you can. So he will also tell you on the ways, and he's a fabulous, fabulous speaker. He's really a great speaker, and he will tell you on how how you can do things, how you focus your mind, what are the powers of mind. It really helps, Yeah. So they don't talk, as I said, they will never talk about God. They will not talk about any idols. They will not talk about those things. They will empower you as a person. And if you implement that, it can really empower you like anything.
So, a couple of more questions. If you had to gift one book or couple of books or recommend a book to someone, what book would that be that you would
Bhagavad Gita, any day. Seriously, Bhagavad Gita of Chinmaya Mission, please read that. Read that, because the other Bhagavad Gitas like of the Yoganand Saraswati and all, they're very, very intense. And again, like ISKCON will follow very devotion oriented. Devotion is not, we people somehow are so busy in our lives that devotion just doesn't come to us.
We are living a life.
We are living a very
action-oriented, or you live a life.
Action-oriented people, we are like that, So Chinmaya Mission, read that because it will change your personality so much. It will just make you a different person altogether. Here, Ramakrishna Mission somehow is a bit more, it's very, very intelligent people, but here these people, Sarvapriyananda, Mitrananda, hear them out. They will really propel you,
Any business books or any?
I actually don't read. No, I don't read. I'm just so, even within the spirituality, I have if you come to my table, there are 4 books there on one is Bhagavad Gita, one is Shiva's. I hear Swami Shivananda of the Divine Life Society. Yeah. And one thing which I have seen is, I've not read enough business books, but the kind of knowledge these guys will give you to propel yourself, you probably would not get it out of them. Because my husband reads a lot of business books, but he still reads these books, so I presume it's that way.
Are there any businesses in Dubai that you are inspired by?
Quite a few, many of them, yeah.
Like a few? Would you like to name a few? Businesses that inspire you?
Inspired me, yeah, many of them, yeah. So I'm very inspired by Hello Chef Olivia, because I've seen how hard she has worked. So she lives in our community, and I've seen her and her husband. They used to work on Fridays and Saturdays, and I used to just tell her, you're always working, and they're doing very well now. I just met her some days back. So yeah, so her, who else can I think of? Within BNI as well, quite a few. So they are still quite small business owners, but within Thai and within Endeavour, I really meet very strong business owner. Koita Organic Milk, Mustafa Koita, or Raki from Sugar Moo Desserts. The way they have accelerated their businesses and the way they've grown up is amazing.
One of the reasons I wanted to launch this podcast and this show was, I listen to a lot of podcasts in the West, in the US, and a lot of the information that is shared there inspired me to kind of save myself from the failures or the setbacks and try to do things that they did to be where we are. And I know that such stories exist here in our own city in Dubai. And this is my way of getting these people out from their shells and getting them on this chair and asking them these amazing questions and learning from them and getting inspired, just how you are inspiring all of us here. Lastly, I would like to ask you one advice that you would like to give these aspiring business owners or startups or small businesses, what one advice you would give that you wish you had been given when you started?
So one advice which I've always said is a few advices. So one is don't do things yourself. Just try and find out what is your strength and focus on that. One thing is don't do things yourself. Have your time out. Enjoy your life. Just don't do work and work and work. You're not a donkey to work like that. So just focus on your life as well. Second thing is don't focus too much on, don't have that anxiety. I've seen a lot of business owners, I'm not getting through this, and they get depressed. Don't have the anxiety if you're not getting that thing. It's okay, just let it go.
Keep working.
Let it go. Don't think about the result. So have a goal, but just don't think about the result. Do it for the sake of the work.
Enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey. Yeah. Live with vitality. Don't bother about what is going to happen, what is not going to happen. Just live every moment with a lot of vitality.
That's a great one, actually. Facing the camera actually freaks me out, to be honest. But this is what I really wanted to do. And I want to meet inspiring people like yourself and other businesses. I have amazing guests lined up for the podcast. And I just forget about everything else. I just try to be in the moment and just keep going.
Yeah,
you have to push yourself, be out of the, go out of the comfort zone, do things that scare you.
And one thing which is very, very useful is have one thought at one time. So this is something, because our minds work in such a way that we have too many thoughts. It's a lot of random thoughts.
Yeah.
So you need to get into the exercise of having a very organized way of thinking.
Yeah.
And be very conscious that these mind thoughts are running. And business owners face that a lot. Oh, this is there and that is there. I have to pay salaries, this and that. So if you are here, you be here. Yeah. If you're doing something, you forget those bank loans and you forget that salaries, you forget that cash crunch. That's going to be there always.
Whether you be distracted or not.
You don't have to just be there. Have one thought at one time. It will really bring the best out of you. Because your mind we have this energy, the reservoir of energy. Every time you give out thoughts, the energy goes out. And if you have too many thoughts, the energy is lost. So you might as well, you have just one thought at one time. And get into that practice, of just thinking. If you're brushing, just brush. Don't be in that present. Be in the present.
Yeah, be in the present. Lastly, you want to talk about GoOrganic. You want to share with the audience where can they find? Of course, there's GoOrganic.com, the website. Anything about GoOrganic.me. And you want to share about Pure Press, where they can find this, how they can reach out to you. What kind of detoxes you have? Would you like to share something about your company?
Yeah, so GoOrganic has been there for 6 years. As a company, we do juice cleanses, juices, cold pressed juices. So GoOrganic is purely available only on our website. We are not on any of those delivery platforms. We pulled ourselves out of all of them. We want customers to come back to our platform and buy it from us.
Okay. So that's GoOrganic.me.
That's GoOrganic. That's completely us. And that's our bread and butter, and that's something which I absolutely enjoy doing. Pure Press is a very, very new baby for us. So GoOrganic Juices are also at many, many restaurants. We are in Jones to Grocers, we are in Salad Jar, we are in quite a few places. I lost count as well myself. Pure Press is new. It's our retail, it's our baby for the retail. We have invested in the nice looking bottle and the nice looking label. We have created our own mold. We have made it super cheap. It's literally 1 kg of vegetables and fruits in one bottle, and barely 9 dirhams or 16 dirhams for a cold pressed juice. I mean, you will not get this kind of
nutrition in one bottle.
You will not get it. I mean, our GoOrganic juices are 3 times the cost of pure pressed juices.
Yeah.
So Pure
Is there a
Press
particular reason? Because they have more.
Because the volumes are much higher. No, the volumes are much higher. So we supply to the retail, right?
Okay.
So it's GoOrganic. Retail is all volume based. So we give out in bulk. But yeah, for the end consumer, it's available in most of the retails right now. We're soon going to be in Enoch and Zoom and Adnox.
That's Pure Press.
Pure Press. So I'm talking Pure Press. GoOrganic is purely only B2C. It's our customers.
People who want to do detoxes are the ones who should go to GoOrganic.me and check out them.
We are also, as I said, the smaller bottles are in quite a few restaurants.
Okay.
And yeah, Pure Press is at the retails. We're in 49 Carrefours, we're in park and shops, we're in the airports.
So you're basically everywhere. One thing I want to tell people about detoxes. Why should they do detox?
Detox is because people don't eat. So generally in a day, you don't eat we eat a lot of carbs, we eat a lot of carbs. We miss out on the vegetables and fruits, which is prime. There have been studies on why raw food is important for your body, and we all know it's very important. A detox helps you. Your digestive system is always working. It needs to rest for some time, and that's why in every religion as well, fasting is being given. So this is the way in which you put plant power in your body, raw food in your body. You are literally, you need to go through that experience to actually feel it. If you don't want to do that, just drink one juice a day instead of having some carbs outside. This is plant powered. I'm vegan. So for me, I really struggle eating outside. So always, even if now I open my bag, you'll see juices inside.
Yeah, I know, I've always seen you with all these bags of
juices with me, because that's my food, and I would rather go back home and then eat. So it can literally flood you with nutrition. It will make your digestive system work much, much better. You'll feel sleep much better. You will have a much clearer, you are what you eat, If you eat crap, you'll become crap.
You are what you eat and what you think.
Yes. Thinking also is, within scriptures also we learn that. So what you eat also affects how you think. So it will give you a very clear thinking. You'll be sleeping better. It's a different experience. More than everything, it will flood you with plant power, which people don't. I've seen the lifestyle in Dubai. I've seen myself. I don't have time. We leave in the morning, we are working, we are out on business calls, come back, and then you want to just grab a croissant or something. No, it doesn't make sense. It's just affecting your health badly. So detox is a great experience. It, more than everything, forget weight loss, forget that will happen automatically. Weight loss will happen.
It's a byproduct.
But more than everything, it floods you with plant power, raw plant power, which people don't have. People don't get it.
Cool. So awesome. GoOrganic.me is the website that you should be visiting for more details on juicing and detoxing. Thank you so much, Meenaxy.
Most welcome.
For taking time, for making space for this interview. I know you are extremely busy and I was like, I have to get you on board. And so thank you again. I'm so very grateful for sharing, by being vulnerable, sharing your personal stories with all of us and inspiring us and motivating us. Thank you so much. And thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. I would love to hear your feedback about this session. If you have any questions from Meenaxy, you can ask, or myself, you can ask us from all the platforms, whichever platform you're listening to this podcast, either on YouTube or on iTunes. Feel free to ask us questions. Me and my team will go to Meenaxy and grab her to reply to your questions. Please do like this episode if you liked our conversation. Share it with friends and family that you feel can benefit from this conversation. Your support is so important for us to keep us going. So until next time, wish you success. Bye-bye.